Right, Dave. Let's check we're live as always, mate. As always. I'm sure we're seeing the numbers trickle through as we go live-age. Let's have a little look. You check on your phone, mate. It's been weird.
Yeah, mate. We are now a go.
Wicked. Okay, right. Right. Let's get on the tech. Right. Cool. Hey, everyone. Yeah, Andy and Dave from EverTrek HQ again. Tuesday tune-in. This is the kind of last but one before Christmas, which is nuts. I can't believe we're almost in Christmas, Dave.
Yeah, we got one more left, right?
One more left next week, which is going to be quite a cool one. But today, yeah, we thought about. I think next week we're going to do sort of stocking fillers, that sort of thing. But this week we were thinking about tech and around tech that you could use on a trek. You know, which could be things like cameras, you know, anything electrical really, rely on, which is, you know, numbered, is quite big numbers when you're on a trip. There's always different technology that comes out. So we thought, let's talk about that this week. And yeah, that's where we are. So yeah, good to see some familiar names. If you joined us on the live, do say hello. Hey, David, Lord James, Pablo, Sinead, Mark, Simon, Aid. Great to have you all on. So yeah, anyone who's on, do let us know you're there. Always great to see who's on the live. Yeah, we've had some questions come in on the email, which we'll tackle in a bit. But we'll start off with the. Which we start off, Dave, today?
Well, yeah. Let's. I mean, I suppose we can just. Yeah, we're going to talk about sort of the different types of equipment stuff. There are different levels of techies on the hill. You know, I think I'm probably the lower end of the techie sort of spectrum. Andy is like a Decepticon. You know, when he sees a picture, he kind of opens up, and there's like hundreds of like cameras, lenses, you know, all that sort of stuff. Where like my camera is it's right here. That's the only camera I have.
Actually, wrong with that?
That's a lie, actually. That's a lie, because my new one arrived today.
You've got a GoPro today, right?
Yeah, literally, yeah. It's like show and tell. We know we love a show and tell. So today, yeah, bought my new GoPro.
Nice.
Yeah, the GoPro 9 in here. Very excited. Haven't used it yet. But yeah, I suppose we can start off with cameras, which are probably the biggest and one of the ones we get the most questions about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, any members of Camera Club out there, as we like to call it, and usually there's a. What's the noise, Dave? Whenever you I know on a couple of tracks we've been doing, and if I'm off taking a picture, all I hear is Dave doing.
So literally, that's the camera noise. So basically, whenever someone sees like a photo opportunity, you know, you let loose of the, and then like I said, then the Transformers, Decepticons, whatever, they all of a sudden it's like lenses and it's
wow, sound effect really coming out today, Dave.
Where I go. And that's it.
Very good, very good. It's yeah, it's quite interesting because you do get like you know, different levels of techies on the trek, and yeah, I kind of probably at upper level. I've always got some sort of new gadget or gizmo, but yeah, cameras. So you can go a bit nuts with cameras, but it's always worth sort of thinking in the back of your mind about weight, because you know, taking some camera gear, especially if you've got like a decent size, maybe sort of 5 to 10 year old DSLR, they can be quite weighty, and especially if you've got lenses. Yeah, hey Mick, hey Tommy, Julie, Karen, Scott, Chris, great to see you on the live. Yeah, so with lenses, then it's always good. I mean, I always think, right, especially if you go into Nepal and Kili, thinking about it, can be quite dusty. So you don't want to carry too many lenses, really, if you're taking a DSLR. I always think, you know, get a good all-rounder lens, one that, you know, you can take some nice people shots as well as landscape. But if you're really into it and you've got sort of, you know, a secondary lens you want to take, it can be quite difficult. If you want some close-ups of the mountain, you know, maybe you need a telephoto lens, or even if you're looking at a wide angle, because you've got some big, you know, valleys there. Or glens, if you're from Scotland. Yeah, you got some really big or cums, yeah, depending on where you're from. Yeah. You know, where you've got some amazing landscapes to take picture of. So yeah, a wide angle lens is definitely on the cards. There are I've seen a few. I mean, I know there's a lot of keen photographers in the EverTrekker group. And let us know if there's anything that kind of works for you. like attachment wise, because I mean, if you've got you know, a Nikon or a Sony or a Canon, you know, there's obviously heaps of sort of high-end DSLR cameras, but I know you can get some wide-angle attachments that you can add to a normal lens that can give you a bit of extra viewing space. So yeah, let us know if there's any of those that you kind of prefer. I mean, I've got a Nikon. It's a bit bulky. I've had it a couple of years. And yeah, I've got a couple of attachments, a couple of lenses, and that kind of does me fine. I've got a telephoto lens. You know, I've got a like an 18 to 55 millimeter lens. I don't want to go too deep into the sort of lens details, but yeah, that an all-rounder is always good, because instead of having loads where dust could potentially get in when you keep on changing these lenses, that can cause issues. I've seen a lot of people have issues with dust on their camera lenses. So yeah, keep an eye on that. You know, because it can cause.
Yeah, I actually use a it's like a Carl Zeiss lens. It's like a triple camera lens with a flash and a wide angle. It's got a wide angle on there. Pretty good zoom.
Well, mate, these are very underrated. You could get away with it.
I do find with the dust sometimes I have to and, you know, yeah. I've seen some lenses, mind on the trails, mind, my God. Like one of them I saw one time, like he had a lens so long, he had to have like a little stand on the end of it to kind of like hold it up. I mean, I don't know what he's taking pictures of, individual pebbles on Ama de Blam, I think.
Sorry, I'm just reading through the comments. I know I'm going to give a little shout out to Ramona, because I know she had you know, a close call this week. So yeah, I hope you're okay, Ramona, and you're on the mend, mate. Yeah, it must have been a bit sort of scary and mad, but what's in EverTrekkers, mate? I'm just reading some of the notes on here. But Ramona, yeah, mate, glad you're still with us. You know, lots of adventures to be had, mate. So yeah, look, hope you're okay, and let us know how you're doing. You know,
absolutely, absolutely. And oh, Mark Van Rossum recognizing the quad lock, brilliant, isn't it? Quad lock, by the way, actually, I didn't. Matt, thank you for bringing it up, Mark, because I never thought of it. So I use the quad lock thing, which is a great little sort of lock-in device on the back of your case. If you can't find the exact case, they do sell one that just sticks to the back of any case. And then they've got a load of different attachments here that it just kind of like goes on, clicks in place. So that's primarily for the bike, armband for running, chest, head, anywhere you want to put it, including lots of things that you can take with you to take secure pictures. Like if you're hanging your camera over the Hillary Bridge or whatever, which a lot of people do to get a picture of it, it's not going to fall off.
Right. So, that is brave though, isn't it? You're thinking, wow. You know, I mean, I've done some selfies, be an attachment. I'll be thinking, okay, is that takes us a bit of wind and you're on.
Oh, mate, these are good. I've crashed my bike and I've managed to come off the bike, but this has stayed on.
Really?
So actually, I should try and get a quad lock for my saddle.
Brilliant, mate. No, it's great to see so many people on today. People just love gadgets and gizmos, don't they? Yeah. So cameras. So we've covered a little bit of cameras there. You've got the GoPro. You've got the 9, haven't you? Is that the GoPro 9?
Yeah, so I just bought this. The only reason I bought the 9 because there wasn't a huge price difference between the 9 and the 8. So you figure you may as well go for the 9. So I went for this. Arrived yesterday, so you're still in sort of wrapper. GoPro 9 black.
Very nice.
They had a pretty good deal on it. Like if you signed up for like GoPro service for a year or something, you got £100 off. So it's got loads of little cool attachments in there. What I'm most interested in is the like the stabilizing effect on it. So when you're walking or riding, normally you get that sort of bumpy feel. And I know with the older GoPros have always been really good ever since the first iteration. I know, Andy, you've had a GoPro like since Mach 1 GoPro, right?
I've got some old ones, yeah. I mean, they're still really good. I mean, they were always awesome, but nowadays, silly technology.
Yeah, but the like walking with them and stuff like that, they're so smooth now, and riding with them, they take such a lot of that bounce away. So actually, you can see what you're doing whilst also looking at the perfectly like smooth trail ahead of you. So yeah, really good. You'll see. I think GoPro probably one of the most popular things you'll see on like every single trail.
Yeah, you always see them on the trek, don't you? I mean, we use some on Killy and on Trek to Everest numerous times, and you always see them on there and all the different attachment that come with it, and they're great. GoPro 8 Mark, I've got the same. I've got the 8. I've used it with a gimbal, without a gimbal. To be honest, it doesn't really need a gimbal stuff I've seen, because it's so smooth. unbelievably smooth. But yeah, Dave, Jerome was asking, how much was that GoPro?
Good question, Jerome.
You know how much it was?
I think it was about £240, something like that.
Really?
Like that. I'll find out.
No, that is amazing. That sounds cheap.
Let me find out for you, Jerome. So I should pay more attention, really, but yeah, I didn't. So let me have a quick. I think it was around £240, something like that. So let's have a quick look. So the total, I'm totally wrong. It was £330.
Okay, well, still really good though. I was expecting more than
that. So I actually £330 was more than that, to be honest with you. The GoPro itself,
yeah,
and then I got the chest strap, and a couple of other things. So basically, the total discount I got online was £197.50 from buying the GoPro 9 in a bundle. And then I got a couple of things on there. So actually, they've got really good deals on there. GoPro have always been incredibly well priced.
Yeah, James was saying I think that's the price he sold it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was cheaper than that, Dave, wasn't it? Yeah, very good.
Got the same thing, like including the subscription for storage and a few extras. Yeah, so pretty much the same thing. And then I got the strap as well that was on offer. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. And GoPros are brilliant. You won't go far wrong. I know you can. There's a lot of it's sort of autos to sort of fisheye, but I know you can change that now on the 8s and the 9s. I think all of them. But definitely. So it takes it from a wide angle to more of a sort of normal shot. But they're amazing. But yeah, looking at Diane put a really good point on here. We got a little post going out after about 2:30 around the new height of Everest, which yeah, I think it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We have to talk about that, Dave, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's too high for me now. That was just like that was on the cusp for me. But yeah, nearly a meter higher. And actually, with the negative aspects of climate change, with the glacier shrinking, its prominence is probably going to be even much bigger. Because base camp is, if that continues to happen. I'm seeing lots of comments here. Actually, Dave Ribbon's in buying a agreed. Yeah, should have said that. And how flush am I? Not flush whatsoever, Amanda. I think the word is what's it? Irresponsible. Is what that is.
Dave, you always know what you're spending, so I was surprised. But
yeah, no, it's because I treated myself to a couple of things and I couldn't remember how much. But yeah, irresponsible, not flush.
Well, look, with the new height of Everest. Was it 89 centimeters more? I think I'm glad they kept the 8848 bit, because otherwise all those t-shirts and mugs would need reprinting, right?
Yeah, exactly. AA8 vodka as well, AA48 vodka.
Yeah, and that's it. Ramona's hit the nail on the head in terms of it growing. Tectonic plate.
Yeah. Isn't that plate tectonics?
Either or. I think when I was in GCSE and A-level geography, I did.
Yeah,
you can get away with any version of it, Dave. But
yeah, exactly. So, question for you, and okay, got all this tech. I've got 5 DSLRs, I've got 62 lenses, I've got 22 GoPros, 5 phones. How am I going to charge them, mate? What's going on? I'm going.
Well, it's funny you say that, Dave, because I think there's a couple of little sneaky little comments on here around one of our favorite things we talk about. Especially you when it comes to Amazon Prime Day.
Love Amazon
Prime
Day.
Power banks, right, Dave?
Yeah, power banks. Yeah, I see Jerome has actually mentioned the one already. So yeah, the 26,800 Anker power core is a big juicy boy. Provides loads and loads of power. I think I've got, to be honest, I just keep getting them because they're so useful. And actually, people know that I've got them now. So I provide Andy with power, Steve, the cameraman, with power. But yeah, it's my own fault for bringing 5 of them. But yeah, they're brilliant. They're really good. And to be honest with you, they've sort of now I have those. I actually don't worry about any power at all anywhere ever. Like even like in the hotels, if I haven't got an adapter, although Andy does have a good adapter.
I do, which does come into it sometimes, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So they're brilliant on the mountains. I've not even found that they've lost too much power when it comes to like temperature wise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we took them up to Kili, and we had some really cold nights on Kili. I've taken them to Nepal and had some really cold nights and stuff like that. And I did find the 26,800 lasted most of an 11-day EBC trip. But if you're charging it every night, you will need a second one. But also, to be honest, in a lot of the different places, even at Gorekshep, we had power in the room one time. It's intermittent, And I plugged it in at night, and by the morning, my 20, I had almost a full charge on it. So yeah, there is ways and means to get it as well. And actually, Dave Clifton just mentioned something as well. Yeah, we should say the tragic news of Doug Scott.
Yeah, good point.
Although what a life.
Yeah, that's why I put a post up this morning about it, and it was yeah. I mean, I never got to meet Doug at all, but I know a lot of people who had. I know some of our guys in Nepal have worked with Doug in the past because they've been around for a bit. Some of our guides and the owners of the people we use in Nepal, and they said he was a lovely guy. But yeah, it's another British kind of legend gone this year. But I think we also have to look at his life and celebrate it in a way. And it's never nice, is it, when that happens? But we have to certainly. He's got the life to celebrate there. I mean, what a journey, right? What an amazing journey.
Hey, Paula, always late but worth the wait.
She is. But yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? All these famous mountaineers and some of them that sort of leave us too soon. But yeah, I was going through some pictures of Doug this morning, and especially some of the things that he's done regarding helping Nepal, because he was big on not only climbing Nepal but helping them. And he set up what was that? The charity. I know I shared it on Facebook this morning, but he was some of the villages we've passed through wouldn't be as developed as they are without his help. He's not the only one, but he did a lot of work to develop the region.
It was a community action Nepal.
That's it. Yeah, nice, Dave. I know he set that up, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Or he was I'm not entirely sure, but I know he either set it up and it was his charity, or he was a big, huge supporter and patron of the charity. Either way, he had a lot of affection for the people of Nepal, as we do. We understand that every footstep in that region is only possible with the help of the guides and porters and the people that actually live there in those communities and provide us with those services and things like that. So doing what we can to give back to those guys is certainly something that we back and Doug backed and stuck with it throughout his entire life and his climbing history. So yeah, what an amazing guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. Yeah, cheers for bringing that up, David. And always good to remember that some of our heroes have inspired us to do what we do now. And he's certainly one of them. But yeah, we've got some people live all the way from Kentucky. Welcome. It's nice to welcome some of our US EverTrekkers as well. But yeah, I should say good morning because it's probably quite early in Kentucky right now.
Well, good morning or good evening. I don't know how it works.
Or good night. Yeah.
Or good night. But yeah, well, actually, yeah, we've got our very own American now, haven't we?
She is an American, not an American. So she is, Ali. She's actually managing the comments today.
Yeah, exactly.
As you can see here. But yeah, the just going back to the power banks, we have put the link in there. That's the kind of one that Dave, I know you've got. I know Jerome's used. I've got a couple, and I will copy. There's another link I'll chuck in here as well, which is actually for the power adapters. So yeah, someone's asked there. I think someone asked about power adapters for. It's quite a long link actually, that one. But that's a beast of a link. I think that's longer than the actual trek itself. But yeah, with regards to plug adapters in Nepal, you can either use one of the sort of universal adapters. Now, there's a bit of a caveat with this. All the universal travel adapters I've used, you still have a bit of an issue in Nepal because of the way that the plug's used. So you can leave that to one side and get one in Nepal. That's an option. You can just get it in Tamil.
Yeah.
There's heaps of places you can get one. But you can, it's a bit jiggy, but there's some of the power adapters, you'll see like a 2-prong, which I think you use through a lot of Europe. And that does fit with a bit of a jiggy in the hotels. So yeah, some of the hotels now that we especially in Kathmandu, they are switching over to USB charging, in the rooms. So that'll be good. But on the trek, if you're looking to charge, if you do have a universal power adapter, just bear that in mind that it does take a little bit of jiggy, even if you've got one that says it'll work. Yeah, I found out the hard way.
Sorry to interrupt, mate, but I think we might be stuck out because Ali has actually now met someone else from California. So I think this is now their forum for them to talk about the Bay Area, living in Cali. Yeah.
Very good.
Already, I haven't seen Ali use the word rad since I've met her. She meets another Californian and it's like, yo, rad.
Why not?
Oh, hey, Brooke's here as well.
Hey,
yeah.
Brooke. I was watching this morning when I came in. I watched. I don't know why. I just needed. I always sometimes for motivation in the mornings. I watched the Kilimanjaro the long way this morning for 10 minutes, Brooke. So yeah, I saw your beautiful face on our TV in the office, and yeah, just watching the trek just to. You know, it's always good to get a bit of motivation.
Yeah, love Brooke. Yeah, she's trying really hard to get good at running. So I've taken her to school a few times, and yeah, like I remember she was so unfit on Killy. I had to kind of like drag her up there, you know. But she's doing well now.
She is doing well. She's.
I can feel the slap on the back of my head already. From
you know. I was going to say, yeah, if you want Trek, you could probably get away with it, Dave, with a banter. But
yeah, no, Brooke's an absolute savage. She's she's an absolute savage when it comes to like endurance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, what can we talk about, and where can we dip in? I mean, there's lots of other little ancillary items, isn't it? Head torches.
Yeah, I've got a little list here. So we've gone through cameras, GoPros. I think we've talked about power banks, but I think while we're talking about power, let's talk about solar chargers, because we've had a few questions that come out about solar chargers, and you know, there's a big range of you know, you can get ones for £20, you can get ones for, you know, sometimes for £1,000. To be honest, I've never used one that works that well on in their altitude. Which is nuts, because you know that with the thinner air, you should get, you know, you get more UV rays. You think, okay, it'd charge better. For some reason, I've not found a decent one.
Cloud coverage, I think, isn't it? It's too intermittent.
Yeah, it is intermittent. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can get away with it, but I've known that I've left one out the entire day before. You know, and I paid about sort of 120 quid for that one. I'm kind of struggling to recall the make, but it didn't work that well. And I've just, if you go into, I mean, just if we're talking about Nepal here, you know, if you go in on, say, a 2-week trip, you know, that to me is 2 power banks, and that'll last you pretty much the entire route. You know, if you're going longer than that, maybe if you're going to Island Peak or Mera Peak, or you're going on one of our longer trips like 3 Peaks, 3 Passes, maybe the ultimate Island Peak trip, which is like 20 to 21 days. You know, you might need to sort of charge every now and again, but those power banks, you know, they're very, very. I'd rather spend money on them than on a solar charger that says it charges, but I know it's not the best, unless you're willing to spend a lot of money and they're heavy. You know, because I know a lot of the expeditions use them at base camp, and they're different. They're probably more commercial solar chargers.
Yeah.
So they are a bit more reliable. I wouldn't waste your money. Go for the power banks instead.
The other thing is as well that when you do buy a power bank, you can use them all year round wherever you are. Being in Wales, a solar thing is just going to sit in there for,
very good point. Yeah.
For most of the year, and then come out, you know, on the odd occasion. But
yeah.
Personally, I think I've tried lots of different ways to get power. It's one of those things where, you know, bring in the power, because a lot of people like to go away and they like to switch off, have even like a digital detox. They just go there for themselves. That's fine. I think at least having one power bank gives you the option. You know, we're like, what I like to have when I go out there is just the option to like power my phone and take photos and make notes and maybe send a few messages home. And certainly the vast majority of people that I've come into contact with feel the same. So I think, you know, it's a really good idea to have. Oh, Amanda Joy Hilton has said smartwatches as well. Yeah, good point, actually.
Yeah, very good point.
We
before we get on smart torches, so solar panels, we go for the head torches. I think is some things that, you know, we recommend on all of our trips, really, just because you kind of, there are trips where you'll be hiking either early morning or through the night, like Kilimanjaro, or even like Aconcagua. But also as well, you know, if you know you've had a long day. I know we've had some delays go back a couple of years, and because of weather, we haven't arrived, you know, into Lukla until the afternoon. So then you're still walking, you know, in the night sometimes. So yeah, it's always handy to have a head torch. I know that Petzl, Black Diamond are probably the ones we look at. You've got the Petzl Tika, which is me. I've got 3 of them, and they've always been really good. I think, Dave, we've talked about this, that some people say, oh, you know, what lumens would you use? What specifics like that? And to be honest, as long as you can see where you're going,
yeah,
it doesn't need to be a helicopter light. You know, as long as it works, It could be something that you buy, a head torch that you buy in a garage for £10. As long as it works, as long as the batteries are charged, as long as you've got some light, there shouldn't be an issue on the treks like that. I mean, okay, some midnight on Killy, you need one that's reliable. We've always got some backups anyway, but yeah, I don't think you have to spend heaps and heaps of money.
And to be honest with you, if there's a load of you like going up Kilimanjaro, say, and you've got one of those that's like a football stadium floodlight attached to your forehead, it's actually a little bit annoying for everyone else, because every time you turn your head, you're going to blind people.
Yeah.
And it also makes their torches redundant if they're stood next to you because they're just such a big pool of light. But yeah, personally, I use a black diamond one. I've never really bothered to, like Andy said, about worrying about how many lumens and stuff it's got. You just need a cone of light so you can look where you're going.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need nothing like crazy. Like I saw one person had this. I think it was designed for like a bike or something, which was like 2,000 lumens, which is just crazy. I think my black diamond is around 400.
Yeah,
but it's got settings where you can like dial it down or dial it up. Yeah, and you're probably going to want to make sure you get some batteries, some spare batteries or rechargeable batteries for those as well, because the last thing you want when you're halfway up is to like have the batteries just sort of like blink out and die on you. So yeah, I always carry some extra batteries in my pack as well with for the head torch.
Yeah, and it's good with the Tika as well. Just to let you know, the Petzl Tika, which I use, it is USB chargeable. So again, you can plug it into your power bank again. So, that good old power bank has many uses. Yeah, with smartwatches then, I know we're going to talk briefly on it. Dave, I know we've had, well, between me and you, we've probably had most of them.
Well, yeah, I'm a little bit like
a few years.
When it comes to that type of tech, I am a degenerate. Like I will spend the money on it. So I've had both Sunto and Garmin are pretty much the main two that I've used.
Yeah.
I've not tried anything by like Fitbit or the Apple Watch or anything, but I'm sure they're very good, although they're more broad ranging, not necessarily sort of sport motivated. So I had the Sunto 9 was the last one, and then I've recently I say recently, last year I've owned the Phoenix 6.
Is that the 6?
Solar
5.
Yeah, the Pro Solar one, which is brilliant because it's got so many different like sort of. To be honest, I'm never going to be at a stage in my life where I use 100% of like the functionality of these watches, because some of them are like you can go such a deep dive into the data. But actually, this one's really light on my wrist. It's got loads of functionality for all the different sports.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it does gain an extra few days from solar charging. So just throughout the day, it's not one of those things you've got to hang your wrist out the window, but just being out and about, and we'll gather some more, which can make the difference between it lasting maybe a trip or falling slightly short. But yeah, I mean, I love these, almost like a nostalgia thing. You know what people say, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. Well, you can record your whole trips. But even now, I still look back at like my first ever EBC trip, which is on Strava.
Yeah.
My watch actually died 2 days before the end, but I've got all the way up and most of the way down. Yeah, and I love it. I love looking back at it and just seeing the route and seeing where I went and comparing it from one to another. I don't know what it is. There's something about data when you've actually done something.
It is.
It's really interesting.
It is, part of that reminiscing, isn't it? And you're right. Like I've moved over to Garmin. I was Sunto for years. I think I used to do a lot of scuba diving. So Sunto, all my dive computers were Sunto. So coming over to the hiking, the mountaineering side, then I was drawn to Sunto because I kind of trusted them. But over time, I've kind of moved over to Garmin. Battery life is nowhere near as good as Sunto, in my opinion, but the features and the usability of it seem to be better. I had the Sunto Ambit 2, I think it was, the first time I went to base camp.
Yeah.
Then we had the Ambit 3, which is really good. And I've got the Fenix 5. I know people have got the Fenix 5X. Dave, you've got the Fenix 6. I think all of these, I talked to like Stephen Jones, part of Aim Higher, who looks after our winter skills. Really nice bloke up in Snowdonia National Park. And, he sort of reminds me all the time, these are great tools, but don't forget your old map and compass. This is good. This is good technology. This is all good, but don't always rely on it. It's good as backup, but it's good then to have, a couple of things, just in case. But, I use this when I play golf because that's the thing with Garmin. It's got it is a bit more broad range than Sunto.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going up Killy, doing a trek, Everest Base Camp, Machu Picchu, Toubkal, Aconcagua, any of these that we've talked about today, would be just fine. And they're all, like Dave said, You can link it up to Strava and everything. It's brilliant.
I loved my Sunto. It's just that it didn't have as much in the terms of like this one here has got like the oxygen monitor and stuff like that. I know it's not 100% accurate, but it is within like a few points. So, you know, what I think this gives me is like ballpark information, because it gives you like your heart rate and stuff. And I know to get a proper reading it, you need a chest strap really ideally, but it gives you a ballpark figure of where your performance is. And I get, at the moment, I got 21 days left on this. And that's because I have a few sensors turned on all the time. So you can probably see like there's a green light flashing.
Nice.
If you turn all that off, I can get over 30 days on it. So the battery actually on these modern ones is incredible.
Pretty good, isn't it, with the batteries? And again, you know, I know that like these are both USB chargeable. Excuse me. You can charge them off your power bank again. We'll go back to power banks. I don't think we're ever going to stop talking about power banks, Dave. Especially when we talk about in the build up to Christmas. It's a nice little stocking filler.
I've got Dave Clifton just said, get Torquay Toaster mapping for the Garmin. Torquay Toaster is a Red Dwarf reference, so regardless of how good it is at mapping, I think I'm going to get it. Love a bit of Red Dwarf. Yeah. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, when we're talking about power banks as well, the one thing I didn't know with the GoPro hand is that you need to bring some spare batteries for it as well, right? Because I ordered a spare battery, especially if you want to film in like the 4K, because I know I had the Hero 4, which was the first one to do 4K. I put it in 4K and I didn't even get to Namshi and it was dead.
Yeah, you've got to be you've got to have plenty of juice. Again, you can link it to the power bank. But yeah, with GoPro, I've always got a couple of spare batteries. I mean, because I do a lot of skiing during the winter as well in the Alps, and it's yeah, you know, if you're filming where you're going and stuff, and Dave, like yourself, you know, if you're on the bike, you know, on some downhills and stuff, and you know, it'll run out really quick if you're using it on 4K. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, good old power. It's all about power these days, isn't it? I know as a civilization, we're moving over to electric anyway and everything, aren't we?
Well, mate, yeah.
You know, as time moves on. So yeah, we've I think when it comes to power banks, they're always evolve. I mean, even the ones we put the link in here earlier, you go back 3 or 4 years, they were nowhere near as good as they are now. I mean, they're so quick as well. The charging of them is really quick. So yeah. Power banks.
Awesome. What do you want to add? Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, definitely. I know we've gone through a bit there for about half hour, but yeah, we've got some. We'll start off with the email ones, Dave, is it, and go from there, I think.
Yeah, why not? So first email, Jim Blues. Oh, it's about trip insurance.
Nice.
Yeah. After reading posts on the high altitude group page, how are the figures so different between 100 and 450 for an EBC trip? They all say include helicopter evacuation. Well, Jim, the difference could be due to a number of different things. One is we don't know exactly what information is being inputted each time. If you have like a health condition or anything like that, that will pump up the insurance cost like quite considerably. Also, age makes a bit of a difference. So normally I pay around about 120 to 130 for a policy. I know my dad, who was 60 odd, paid around, I think, 200 to 300. And he didn't have very much to declare. So just thinking about that, that's just age. And then if you add on sort of different things, also different companies and stuff like that, some of them may be way cheaper, but your excess is much higher. So there's a lot of different you know, variations when it comes to insurance policies. What I say is, you know, shop around and get the cheapest one, but make sure you're getting an adequate level of cover for you as well. Not just a helicopter, which is a stipulation for us, but also all the other stuff. So if you are bringing a load of tech, expensive cameras, expensive gadgets, and all sort of that, the last thing you want is for them to get lost, stolen, or broken, and be left on the hill. You know, so yeah, make sure that you are getting an adequate level of cover. So a lot of people might have that as well. You know, if they cover like a DSLR on an adventure travel trip, you know, that's worth 600, 700 pounds, then that's going to bump it up as well. So that's the only sort of advice I can give you, really.
Yeah, and it's and again, you mentioned there about helicopter evacuation. Yeah, make sure it includes that. Yeah, there's a lot of travel insurance out there that says they can cover you up to a certain amount, but they don't include helicopter evacuation. So yeah, definitely check. Yeah, we do have an altitude insurance page on our knowledge center. Ali, if you're on, mate, if you can copy the link, drop it in. Just so Jim can have a little look there. I mean, if or you can go into the knowledge center, just search for insurance and it'll come up for you. Yeah, so it's got a few that we recommend there, but it can be a big range, again, depending on the factors that Dave talked about there. Right, Warren Day, again, you've talked, he goes back to cameras. What the latest camera phones better, the novice trekker than a professional camera? Main concern is weight. Yeah, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the live around the lenses. You know, it does get the kilos definitely stack up if you've got 2 or 3 lenses. And as Dave said, you know, you can get some great pictures on an iPhone or Android. You know, camera technology these days is really good. Yeah, so I mean, there's heaps out there. I think you've only got to Google what the kind of best ones are to use. I mean, personally, I've got a Nikon D500, which is sort of mid to low level DSLR, but it takes amazing pictures. You know, it's really sometimes depends on the lens is where you get the bulk of your cost.
Yeah.
You can have a standard sort of, they call it standard lens, like 18 to 55 millimeter, or you can get, say, 70 mil all the way up to, say, 200 millimeter telephoto lens that you can use for sort of long range, or you can even go back to a wide angle lens. It just depends what you want to get out of it. Definitely have an all-rounder. An all-rounder lens that, you know, they can be quite pricey.
One thing I would recommend, and above all, is there's a guy who's just joined the page. His name's James Wright, and my understanding is that he actually knows his way around a camera. So James, James is actually a good friend of ours. Papa Tembo, he climbed Killy with us, and he's an amazing photographer. That's his bread and butter. So James, prepare for
I was gonna say, you're gonna get bombarded now.
yeah.
Very good. George, go on, Dave. Yeah.
Well, George, I think you've actually answered, because he was basically mainly concerned about weight and stuff like that as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, but one thing I did jump down, which you or James might know an answer to. So Lee Stevenson, one question, he has to do with filming his trek. Can anyone tell him the best editing software to use, which is also user friendly? I have no earthly idea. Andy?
Yeah, no worries. I know James is definitely going to come in. James, I know in terms of video editing software, mate, if you can list a couple, that would be awesome. I think off the top of my head, it's typical because the last couple of years, we've had Steve, who's been on our trips with us, who does all of our video editing. But we do use... you've got Adobe Premiere Pro. I think Adobe are really good. There's heaps of editing software you can use for them. I think Apple have got some. Depends if you've got an iMac. I don't have an iMac, but I've got an iPhone, and it's already got some. I think it's iMovie. I think is a really good one. But if James, always the funny one.
Well, also no. I need to make a slight correction here.
Yeah.
Lee Stevenson would want to know, one question she has to do with filming her treks. Can anyone help her with the best editing software, which is also user-friendly for her?
Did you say him? Okay.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Do you know what? I don't know why. I took a pun. I think it's because I know someone who's a Leigh. But Lee, I owe you a pint. You and Karen Bardet. See, I still try and say Bardet. So at some point I'm going to have to buy you and Karen a lot of sort of sorry pints. But yeah.
Great stuff. I'm just going through all the questions. I know some of them we've kind of talked about. Jerome, I know you asked about plug adapters. Obviously, I'll go back to what I said earlier around the universal ones, and also you can get them in Nepal, mate. Paul Dewhurst started around solar panels. They're a waste of money, as I said earlier. Yes, Paul. I've seen too many people say the same thing, just for it to be mine that I had, and I've used 3 on treks. Like I said, invest your money in other things, I think, and who knows, as time goes on, there might be some good ones over the next couple of years. Maybe we'll test them more, because I like to think that they, hopefully they can do what they say on the tin. But good question. Graham Gordon, where does the mobile signal stop on the EBC trek? Kathmandu or Lukla? You have a dual SIM with unlimited minutes and data global. Dave, I know you've spent a little bit of time on this, haven't you, about with regards to testing out different things? But I know you buy a local SIM, right? Is the best thing?
Yeah, I've just noticed Sinead Beard is actually Shona.
Wow.
Well, I'll be honest with
All
you,
this
right?
time, Shona.
It's any sort of Gaelic name that we have trouble with, like Rasheen, who's a good friend of ours. I was calling Roycin for a while, but yeah, Shona. Wow, my God, these pints are adding up. I need to make sure that we keep getting it right. Okay,
Shona, right? I remember that now.
yeah. With regards to first of all, yeah, the signal on the mountain. Actually, I've had signal um, pretty much the whole way up. So I have a Vodafone, and I definitely made calls at base camp, and a few other people did. They still owe me the money for those calls. They were quite expensive. But yeah, so actually, depending on who you go with, you might get signal while you're on the mountain as well. It doesn't stop at Kathmandu, definitely not. You'll still get data at Kathmandu as well. When you're in Lukla, you'll definitely get it, and then as you go up, you'll probably get it, but you will lose it at certain spots. It also is quite weather dependent up there. If the weather really comes in, it interrupts the transmission. A local SIM, you can definitely get one. I know one of our customers, Bry, he bought a local SIM with some data on it and was able to kind of use that. I've not got a local SIM, but what I do get is so just for a little bit of FYI, so when you're on the mountain, past Nampshi, they all use a shared Wi-Fi network called Everest Link. And you can buy individual cards that give you data. So it's a little scratch card, scratch it off, gives you the password, you log on, and that password will last for X amount of data. Gets quite expensive. But if you get in Nampshi, you can buy like a bigger size data card from a telecommunication shop there. And that'll last you then the whole trip. So that's what I tend to do. Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. I'm still getting. I'm just reading all the comments from these wonderful names. I can't believe, Shona, you've been called cyanide. Wow.
Yeah.
That was toxic conversation. But yeah, we're gonna remember these. We're gonna remember these, Dave. Sorry, mate. I was just going through all the comments there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. With regards to the signal, it can be a bit intermittent. I've one thing I have looked at over the last sort of week or so, just because I do go off on my own quite a bit hiking, and I've been thinking of getting like a sat phone. They're not cheap. They're sort of £300-400 at least for the base level ones. But something to think about as well. And again, if you're only going to say Everest Base Camp, once, I'd love to say you're going back. But if you are coming on, some remote trips more as time goes on, might be worth thinking about getting one. Just see if you want to call home and things like that. The research I've done recently, I think we're going to get some for some of the groups if we can. I'd like to get one personally, trial it out, and then who knows, we might actually use that on some of our trips. I mean, at the moment, in terms of signal, obviously in Nepal, all of our guides carry their own phones, which are is in Nepal. They're not international. For emergencies, things like that. The same in sort of Tanzania, South America, Africa. So yeah, something to think about with that. But Wi-Fi, these places that we visit in the Kumbu region especially, there's plenty of Wi-Fi to go around.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got people like Bry who hooks up to he's got a little Wi-Fi dongle, then become friends with someone like Bry.
Yeah. So Ash Dixon has actually raised quite an important one to answer, really. So hi guys, it's a small 4K high def video drone that fits into his backpack, small and light. Would it be possible to bring to EBC to people and trekkers, or would it be frowned upon by the locals? Very, very, very frowned upon. So it's not just the locals, really. It's more the rules basically set by the government. You are not allowed to bring any type of drone into the area and fly it. Huge fines for doing so, and could be the end of your trip potentially if they don't allow you to go any further. The reason being is quite a good reason. So helicopters up there are not like over here where they're flying on very controlled areas. They're like taxis that use the air like roads. We don't know when they're coming. If you have a drone in the air and stuff like that, you might not even see or hear one if it's coming towards you out the mist. So it's quite a sort of big no-no. To use a drone, you have to get a permit, and the permit is many thousands of dollars. I mean, could be tens of thousands, and it's normally only granted to like big film productions, documentary movies, and stuff like that, so they can control the air traffic around it. So the one thing I would say, Ash, is leave the drone at home. It's definitely not worth risking it or taking it because you won't be able to use it.
Yeah, it's one of those things because I wanted to take some up there and get some really good video footage, but yeah, unless you're the BBC, or you've got some big documentary getting filmed, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I think it was Jerome asked about the online shop, just to sort of see, as just what's on top of my mind there. It's been something that's been in development for a while. The one on the website. What we decided to do, because we've had quite a lot of tech issues with it, we're not going to lie. It's kind of on pause in terms of the developments there. But what we've done in terms of some of our EverTrekker stuff like t-shirts, hoodies, we've kind of created one sort of off-site, if you like. It's all good. It's all, we've kind of looked at it because it's nice and easy. We realize that people want to get some stuff. So I'm actually going to share you a link. If anyone wants to grab one of our t-shirts or hoodies before Christmas, I put a link in there, and you can actually purchase that now. We've hooked up with basically someone who will fulfill that for us. So we use a little website called Threadable. I know, great play on words. And I've just put it in there, so you can order through our little store there, and then it'll get a, if you want one of our t-shirts, you've got a few different colors to tee. You've got the classic black one, or pink if you want to wear some pink. You've got some orange, blue. We've also got our hoodie in there as well. So yeah, just have a look, guys. I've put the link here in the comments. Have a look if you want to grab one of our t-shirts, if you want to grab one of our hoodies. I will be putting more stuff on there over the next couple of days. Things like mugs, things like that. If you want one pre-Christmas, any little Christmas gifts, and then you can actually, grab yourself one of them. And yeah, it's just because of the tech issues really on the website. We didn't want it to cause other issues, which are, I'd say, more important, but the trip side. So we've actually created this on the side, for the time being. And once the other one is up and running, then we'll obviously put that in your members area, and you can do that. But at the moment, this is what you can do. The other one, which is around the technical gear, so the things you can buy, as you know, if you've been part of our community, we've been sort of partnered up with Cotswold Outdoor. Still working on the tech side of that again. It's taken longer than planned, and we're not, although we're into tech, it's not an easy build. So yeah, that's taken time. But in the interim, obviously you've got your 15% discount in your members area with Cotswold Outdoors. Don't forget about that. But yeah, the actual ones with regards to the technical gear again isn't up and running. But in the interim, we've got those. We're going to be putting other things on there. Caps. I think Marie's just
Mary, that's a point.
That's a point. But yeah,
that's a
it's
point.
going to be expensive, these lives,
I know, yeah.
But in the interim, guys, we know Christmas is coming up, and if you want to grab, obviously I love the fact that anyone wants to wear, EverTrek stuff. It means a lot, and we love that you're supporting us. It's been a challenging year, but it's also, in our eyes, it's been a great year. We've grown the Yetis team. We can't wait for 2021 to start running trips, but we're still around, we're still here, we're doing these lives, and we're super excited. So yeah, if you want to grab any of our merch, jump on that link there and grab yourself a little t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right, Dave, what other one's on the list, mate?
So let's have a quick look. So Mark Van Rossum, how's it going, Marky boy? I said a date on the EverTrek down jacket delivery date. Well, actually, we're having an update. Like, literally, the schedule is finish this live, contact Nepal for an update. We know that over there, obviously, there's a lot of socially distancing and isolation going on, just like there is over here, which as mean that they're not going to be as quick as they would be, because there's not as many people doing it as there should be. But we're going to have an update after this, and then I believe Andy's going to be sending out an email to everybody with ET stuff like that. So I think just we're on, and in all transparency, you guys, we want to let you know what's happened and where we are. We're going to get a nice little update, but fingers crossed. We're hoping to do it before Christmas, because that's what we were sort of looking at. As always, it's challenging at the moment. I just noticed
my gut feeling is that it might not be, and I want to, we'll see with that. We're going to have a chat. Hopefully we might get some decent news, but we'll see how it goes, and it might be over the Christmas period, not necessarily before Christmas, but we will double check. Because this is something that is is a little fundraiser. The production side of it in Nepal, they're not the fastest, unfortunately. We've tried to be as quick as we can, but obviously we'll try and get one to you guys as soon as we can, as always, we're here to make it happen as quick as we can. But yeah, we'll definitely update you guys probably later this afternoon.
Awesome. Yeah, Matt and McCollum posted a link for us. You're going to put Ali out of a job, my friend. Very helpful. Anyway.
Well done,
James Wright, the old Tembo, has said, will we supply water bottles with inbuilt filters? So we do have a few. If you look just above Andy's head, you'll see that there is a few of them there. No, other way.
That one out first. That's the old.
Okay, that's the prayer wheels. But yeah, so we do have some, and like Andy's been saying, we're working. It's remarkably sort of difficult to kind of get an infrastructure and hold stock and get everything all set up. We thought it would be building all that in and getting the store ready and stuff. But yeah, we do have them. They're right above Andy's head. I don't know which way he's facing for you guys.
It's north of my head.
Yeah, north of it. Yeah. So and as soon as we can, stuff like that, caps, mugs, all of that stuff will be sent out into the world. It means a lot as well. I can't wait to the day when I see a stranger wearing like an EverTrek t-shirt or something. I'm going to run up to him and take a picture.
Well, I've seen that before, because I remember I had an EverTrek jacket stolen. I think it was this time last year, and I'm wondering where someone's wearing that around Cardiff. And I hope they're promoting us very well, because it was a nice, free, expensive jacket. But yeah, no, it's always great to see see the brand out there. Especially I see all the social media posts and people got our neck buffs and t-shirts, and yeah, it really makes us proud that people are using the brand and being a part of our community. So yeah, big thanks for me to everyone really who does that.
Yep.
Right, Dave, any more? I know we've had a few. I can't believe the time actually. David Clift asked about EverTrek mug. Yeah, David, they will be available in the store over the next couple of days. Again, in the link, I'll be sharing this link quite a lot over the next couple of days anyway, and then putting separate links on the Facebook page and also email, just to to make sure everyone's got that. We don't want you guys to miss out.
Gavin Skevington has said, any talk or rumblings on the insider on how spring treks are looking for next year? Well, the inside is actually the same as the outside. We let you know as soon as we do, and yeah, at the moment we are going full steam ahead for spring. So we don't have any sort of alarming news that we're not going to be able to do it. We don't want to say to within 100% guarantee, because as 2020 has taught us that 100% guarantee doesn't really exist, but all the information we have is very positive. We're going ahead like spring is happening because we believe it to be so. So all of the people that are booked on, all of you guys, your spring trips in 2021 will be going ahead. And we will keep you updated. Like I said, the inside is the same as the outside. If we know something, we put it out straight away to you guys. So yeah, you'll know as soon as I do if anything changes. But at the moment, yeah, prepare for spring, mate, because you're going.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a crazy year. Two big seasons hampered. Which has been a challenge, but we're now we've seen a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, really, which is fantastic. And obviously, I know, in the UK especially, and again, I know there's people here who are watching from other places around the world, but I know the UK, it's a bit mad because there's a lot of different rules, a lot of different things happening depending on where you live. Which there's different opinions on that. It can be a bit nuts, but we're here to make things happen as and when you guys can go, and hopefully that's the spring, early next year. That's what we're working towards right now anyway, and we'll update you with any updates on that. But nice one. Yeah, a lot of people leaving now. I know it's we've been nattering on a bit. Anything else, Dave, you want to share before we leave?
Only that yeah, thank you very much. This has been an awesome year of EverTrek Live. We still have one more to go. But no, the jackets for the guides, again, they're still available to get some. Yes. I think you guys have been absolutely awesome in helping us do that and supporting the guys out there. So I know for myself, and I know I speak for all the guys back in Nepal as well, that they're so appreciative and humbled and overwhelmed by all the support of the EverTrekker community. It's something that you guys should be incredibly proud of. I know we are. And if you still want to get one, you can. All the links, I'm sure Ali will put one up there. That'll be fine. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it for me. Obviously, if anyone has a tech question or anything like that, drop us an email. Always happy to put some time aside to talk about kit,
Yeah, definitely, exactly, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the live today. But yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday, 100%, and that'll be the last one before Christmas. We're actually, the office is closed after it's closed at the end of the 17th.
Oh, I get time off.
You get time off, Dave. Yeah, you get
some
time off.
What am I going to do?
Yeah, so it's so anything you need, let us know. But obviously be available anyway. We never really sort of switch off, but we're usually here. But yeah, we'll definitely catch you next week.
Oh, Shane, man, where were you? Shane's just turned up as we're going. 12:30. But yeah, watch the recording. All the best. See you next week, Shane.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Bye. Bye.